Hello, good morning, dear students. So, in the last session, what we discussed about market demand curve, how to derive market demand curve with the help of given example and table. And the next part of your topic is elasticity of demand. So this topic is also very important from the examination point of view, because here 2 marks question is there and I think 4 marks question is there, the price elasticity of demand and how to calculate price elasticity of demand. So before going to study the price elasticity of demand, let us know the meaning of elasticity of demand. So, we have already discussed about law of demand, and we discussed that change in price leads to change in demand. When price is less, demand is more. When price is high, demand is less. There is opposite relationship between price and demand, and the demand curve slopes downward from left to right, etc., etc. And we just concentrate on change in demand and change in price, and we never and ever explained about percentage of change in demand because of change in price. How much change in demand because of how much change in price. So this is explained with the help of elasticity of demand. Elasticity is an index of reaction. Price changes, demand changes. How much of change in price leads to how much of change in demand? We should know. So, elasticity of demand means what? The question arises. ವಿದ್ಯಾರ್ಥಿಗಳೇ, ನಾವು ಈ ಹಿಂದಿನ ವರ್ಗದಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾರುಕಟ್ಟೆಯ ಬೇಡಿಕೆಯ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಅಧ್ಯಯನ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೇವೆ. ಮಾರುಕಟ್ಟೆ ಬೇಡಿಕೆ ರೇಖೆಯನ್ನು ಹೇಗೆ ಕಂಡುಹಿಡಿಯಲಾಗುವುದು, ಯಾವುದರ ಸಹಾಯದಿಂದ ಕಂಡುಹಿಡಿಯಲಾಗುವುದು ಮತ್ತು ಕೊಟ್ಟಂತಹ ಉದಾಹರಣೆಯೊಂದಿಗೆ ನಾವು ಮಾರುಕಟ್ಟೆಯ ರೇಖೆಯನ್ನು ಅಧ್ಯಯನ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೇವೆ. ಮಾರುಕಟ್ಟೆ ರೇಖೆಯನ್ನು ಅಡ್ಡ ಸಾಲು ಸಂಕಲನದಿಂದ ನಾವು ಕಂಡು ಹಿಡಿದಿದ್ದೇವೆ. ಈ ಅಡ್ಡ ಸಾಲು ಸಂಕಲನ ಸಾಕಷ್ಟು ಉತ್ತಮವಾದಂತಹ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಅದನ್ನು ತೆಗೆದುಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೇವೆ, ಅದರೊಂದಿಗೆ ಅಧ್ಯಯನ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೇವೆ. ಅಡ್ಡ ಸಾಲು ಸಂಕಲನದೊಂದಿಗೆ ನಾವು ಅದನ್ನು ಅಧ್ಯಯನ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೇವೆ. ಸೊ ಇವತ್ತಿನ ದಿನ ನಾವು ಪಾಠ ಮಾಡತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ವಿಷಯ ಬೆಲೆಯ ಬೇಡಿಕೆಯ ಸ್ಥಿತಿ ಸ್ಥಾಪಕತ್ವ. ಸೊ ಬೆಲೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಎಷ್ಟು ಬದಲಾವಣೆ ಆಗುವುದರೊಂದಿಗೆ ಬೇಡಿಕೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಎಷ್ಟು ಬದಲಾವಣೆ ಆಗುತ್ತದೆ ಎಂಬುದನ್ನು ನಾವು ತಿಳಿದುಕೊಳ್ಳುವುದು ಇವತ್ತಿನ ಮುಖ್ಯವಾದಂತಹ ವಿಷಯ. ಸೊ ಈ ಸ್ಥಿತಿಸ್ಥಾಪಕತ್ವ ಎನ್ನುವುದು ಯಾವ ರೀತಿಯಾಗಿ ಬೇಡಿಕೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಬದಲಾವಣೆಯನ್ನು ತರುತ್ತದೆ ಎಂಬುದನ್ನು ನಾವು ಇವತ್ತು ಕಲಿಯಬೇಕಾಗಿದೆ. ಸೊ ನಾವು ಬೆಲೆಯ ಬೇಡಿಕೆಯ ಸ್ಥಿತಿಸ್ಥಾಪಕತ್ವವನ್ನು ಕಲಿಯುವುದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಮುಂಚೆ ಬೇಡಿಕೆಯ ಸ್ಥಿತಿಸ್ಥಾಪಕತ್ವ ಎಂಬುದನ್ನು ತಿಳಿದುಕೊಳ್ಳುವುದು. ಈ ಸ್ಥಿತಿಸ್ಥಾಪಕತ್ವವು ಒಂದು ಪ್ರತಿಕ್ರಿಯೆಯ ಸೂಚಕವಾಗಿದೆ. ಯಾವುದಕ್ಕೆ ಯಾವುದರ ಪ್ರತಿಕ್ರಿಯೆ? ಬೆಲೆ ಬದಲಾವಣೆ ಆಗುವುದರಿಂದ ಬೇಡಿಕೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಎಷ್ಟು ಬದಲಾವಣೆ ಆಗುತ್ತದೆ, ಹೆಚ್ಚಾಗುತ್ತದೆಯೋ ಅಥವಾ ಕಡಿಮೆಯಾಗುತ್ತದೆಯೋ ಎಂಬುದನ್ನು ನಾವು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಅಧ್ಯಯನ ಮಾಡುತ್ತೇವೆ. ಬೆಲೆಯ ಬೇಡಿಕೆಯ ಸ್ಥಿತಿಸ್ಥಾಪಕತ್ವ. ಸೊ ಆದ್ದರಿಂದ ಸ್ಥಿತಿಸ್ಥಾಪಕತ್ವವು ಒಂದು ಪ್ರತಿಕ್ರಿಯೆಯ ಸೂಚಕವಾಗಿದೆ. ಬೆಲೆಯ ಬೇಡಿಕೆಯ ಸ್ಥಿತಿಸ್ಥಾಪಕತ್ವವು ಒಂದು ಪ್ರತಿಕ್ರಿಯೆಯ ಸೂಚಕ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ ನಾವು ಹೇಳಬಹುದು. ಸೊ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಬೆಲೆಯ ಬೇಡಿಕೆಯ ಸ್ಥಿತಿಸ್ಥಾಪಕತ್ವವನ್ನು ಹೇಳುವುದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಮುಂಚೆ ಬೇಡಿಕೆಯ ಸ್ಥಿತಿಸ್ಥಾಪಕತ್ವ ಎಂದರೇನು ಅಧ್ಯಯನ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾದಂಥದ್ದು. ಬೇಡಿಕೆಯನ್ನು ನಿರ್ಧಾರ ಮಾಡತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಇತರ ಅಂಶಗಳು ಸ್ಥಿರವಾಗಿದ್ದಾಗ, ಬೇಡಿಕೆಯನ್ನು ನಿರ್ಧಾರ ಮಾಡತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಇತರ ಅಂಶಗಳು ಸ್ಥಿರವಾಗಿದ್ದು ಬೆಲೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗುವುದರೊಂದಿಗೆ ಬೇಡಿಕೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಎಷ್ಟು ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಕಡಿಮೆ ಆಗುತ್ತದೆ ಎಂಬುದನ್ನು ಅಧ್ಯಯನ ಮಾಡುವುದೇ ಬೇಡಿಕೆಯ ಸ್ಥಿತಿಸ್ಥಾಪಕತ್ವ. ಮತ್ತೊಮ್ಮೆ ಬೇಡಿಕೆಯನ್ನು ನಿರ್ಧಾರ ಮಾಡತಕ್ಕಂತಹ ಇತರ ಅಂಶಗಳು ಸ್ಥಿರವಾಗಿದ್ದು ಕೇವಲ ಆ ವಸ್ತುವಿನ ಬೆಲೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಬದಲಾವಣೆ ಆದಾಗ ಬೇಡಿಕೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಎಷ್ಟು ಪ್ರಮಾಣದ ಬದಲಾವಣೆ ಆಗುತ್ತದೆ ಎಂಬುದನ್ನು ಅಧ್ಯಯನ ಮಾಡುವುದೇ ಬೆಲೆಯ ಬೇಡಿಕೆಯ ಸ್ಥಿತಿಸ್ಥಾಪಕತ್ವ. ಸೊ elasticity of demand, it is defined as the responsiveness of demand to change in one of its determinants. Either it may be price, or it may be income, or it may be advertisement, whatever it may be. Elasticity of demand, it is defined as the responsiveness of demand to change in its determinants and other determinants remains constant. Other determinants remains constant, no change in other determinants. Only the price of that commodity changes and the demand changes. So the definition is given here. It is generally defined as the responsiveness of demand to change in one of its determinants and while other determinants remains constant. It is called as what? Elasticity of demand. Come to the next point. What do you mean by price elasticity of demand? Price elasticity of demand is a measure of the responsiveness of the demand for a commodity to change in its price. It means what? In simple term I will explain. When the price changes, demand changes. So price elasticity of demand is a measure of the responsiveness of demand. Demand responds because of change in the price. Demand responds because of change in the price. So in simple terms, elasticity of demand means when price changes, demand also changes. So it is called as price elasticity of demand. Okay, then the question arises. So this is already cleared. When demand increases, price decreases, or when price decreases, demand increases. We already learnt in law of demand. But the price elasticity of demand, which explains the ratio of change in price and the ratio of change in demand. Yes, see here how it is calculated. It is calculated by dividing, that is demand, change in demand for that commodity by the percentage of change in the price of that commodity. It is calculated by dividing the percentage change in demand by the percentage change in price. It is calculated by dividing the percentage change in demand by the percentage change in price. Dividing percentage of change in price. So we will explain this with the help of formula given. Okay, see here. So percentage of change in demand and percentage of change in price. If the percentage is given, we have to follow this formula. So 10% of change in demand and 10% of change in price, that means 10 divided by 10, like this. If the percentage is given, this formula is applicable. If the percentage is not given, if that is the problem is given, if take for example the price of pen, it is originally 10 rupees, when it increases to 12 rupees, so what will its impact on what? that is price. So, this is explained with the help of another important formula. So, this is the simple formula, price elasticity of demand is equal to percentage of change in demand divided by percentage of change in price. So, we see here we will see here the next formula when the problem is given, how to calculate the price elasticity of demand. See here dear students, price elasticity of demand is equal to delta Q, that is divided by delta P into P by Q. So, this is the very important formula. What is this formula? Price elasticity of demand is equal to delta Q by delta P into P by Q. Then the question arises, what do you mean by P, what do you mean by Q, what do you mean by delta Q, what do you mean by delta P, and what delta stands for. So, these all are the very interesting things. Let us try to understand these all things. Here delta P is equal to change in price, okay, and delta Q is equal to what? Change in quantity demanded. Am I right? So, what is the formula? Delta Q by delta P into P by Q, and here delta P is equal to change in price, delta Q is equal to change in quantity demanded. And what is P? P is equal to initial price. P is equal to initial price, okay. And Q is equal to what? Q is equal to initial demand, okay. So, this is the things related to the formula. Take for example, what is our problem? First point, the price of tomato or potato, initially 10 rupees per kg, okay, 10 rupees per kg. Second point, and demand is equal to how much? Demand is equal to 12 kg. When price is 10, demand is 12. When price is 10, demand is 12. Then come to the next one, price increases, 10 rupees to 12 rupees per kg. So, 10 rupees to 12 kg. What happens to demand? Demand decreases to 10 kg to how much? 8 kg. So, what it shows? When price is more, demand is less. When price is less, demand is more. So, there is opposite relationship between the price and quantity demanded. Then let us try to solve the problem, okay. See here, change in price is equal to what? 12 minus 10 is equal to 2. Change in Q is equal to what? 8 minus 10. What is the answer? Minus 2. So, what P stands? 10. What Q stands? 10. Okay. Then try to solve the formula. So, delta Q by delta P into P by Q. Okay. So, this is equal to what? Delta Q is equal to minus 2. Okay. Delta P is equal to what? 2 into, so P is equal to what? 10 and Q is equal to what? 10. Am I right? And what is your answer? Minus 1. So, this is your answer. Dear students, the price elasticity of demand always that is equal to negative. Universally, we consider the price elasticity of demand, that is negative sign is ignored, and the concept of this price elasticity of demand, that is very useful for consumer and for producer and for, that is, wholesaler, retailer. So, how this is very useful? Because change in price and change in demand, how much of change in price leads to how much of change in demand, this concept is very useful to all the important criterias related to the what? Related to, that is, market analysis. Here is the completion of the very simple topic. What is the title of the topic? Price elasticity of demand. So, once again I will repeat all those interesting and important things. See here, elasticity of demand means what? So, what is elasticity? Elasticity is nothing but, so this is the very interesting index of reaction. So, this elasticity of, that is, index of reaction. Reaction of what? Reaction of, that is, price and demand. How much of change in price leads to how much of change in demand. So, what is elasticity of demand? Elasticity of demand, which explains the percentage of change in price and the percentage of change in demand. Come to the next point. What do you mean by price elasticity of demand? It is nothing but measure of responsiveness of, that is, demand for a commodity to a change in price, but other things remaining constant. The factors determining demand, so many concepts are there, only the price is changing and other things remaining, that is, constant. And how it is calculated? The price elasticity of demand is calculated with the help of two formulas. In case of, that is, percentage, the first formula is applicable. Percentage of change in demand divided by percentage of change in price. So, if the percentage is given, that formula is okay. If the problem is given like this, then which formula is applicable? This next very interesting formula is applicable. What is the next formula? So, this is the next formula. See here, delta Q by delta P into P by Q. P is initial price and Q is initial quantity demanded, and delta P is, that is, change in price, and delta Q is, that is, change in quantity demanded. So, we have to calculate delta Q and delta P, and we have to put the same thing, that is P by Q, then the answer is equal to 1. So, please my dear students, go through these all videos and try to solve the problems given in your textbook and try to understand these all very interesting points.